Chapter 5 on language and culture. This is a short chapter, the main aim of which is to highlight the intricate links between language, culture, and translation.
That's the lingua culture again.
Okay, and it begins with highlighting the anthropological interest in language.
So this time not so much with Bateson, but Bronislaw Malinowski. Interestingly, they were both outsiders themselves. Bateson, an Englishman naturalized in America, and Malinowski, a Polishman naturalized in Britain.
We discuss Malinowski's interest in translation within anthropology.
And then in linguistics, we have Sapir, a contemporary of Malinowski, though their paths didn't actually cross. Then the groundbreaking Sapir-Whorf hypothesis on language and culture, which we do spend some time on.
And we show how relevant the theory still is in the 2020s. We look at the way language cultures categorize the world differently. The important point of the theory is that the meaning of language really does depend on the culture. And if not the national culture or the community of practice, then as Bloomfield tells us, it is the situation in which the speaker utters it.
Yes, and one of the changes in the situation, which shows how language cultures do change over time, is the rise in awareness of political correctness and how lexical labeling can offend or demean certain sections of the community. We look at some of the countermeasures, particularly in the Anglo world.
And we note that this is not actually universal. Other cultures have yet to be affected by this phenomenon. So we illustrate the sort of style guides and politically correct advice that both translators and interpreters need to be aware of. The important point being that each language culture will have its own standards for PC.
Exactly. And we note that, for example, that even within language cultures, publicly acceptable political correctness standards can temporarily shift, as under Berlusconi and Trump. So, across lingua cultures, in general, sensitivity to written and spoken political correctness is relative.
And we also have a quick look at how well Google fares in eliminating what some consider inappropriate translations, which might also be called censorship. We also consider psychocultural gaps where concepts have no equivalent.
And we also look at other psychocultural gaps. We use translating advertising as an example. And to conclude, we point to the need to identify relative cultural values before translating the surface structure.